Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to get started quickly and hopefully get through this in a reasonable amount of time. We have an excellent panel up here this afternoon to talk about software and construction cost data options for JOC. So for those of you who are vintage people like myself, I got started in the JOC world before there was software. So we actually used the book and sometimes a spreadsheet. And when the software came into the industry, it really, really made a remarkable difference in the growth of everything. So enough about that. Let's get into the panel, and I'm going to ask each panel member to introduce themselves as we go across.
So we'll start here. I came over here so I'd be last. My name is Mark Powell. I'm with 4BT. We provide job order contract unit price books and software. That's why we're up here. My history for me is I've been in job order contracting since about 2003. Dave Carithers over there mentioned that we went to the CJE in 2004, that he was there, and there was only 8. I was one of the 8. So that tells you how long I've been around on this particular, in the job order contracting industry. That's about all I have on myself.
Hi, I'm Bill Mahoney from B&I Publications. We've been around since 1946, mostly peddling information to the construction industry. My career started 40 plus years ago at RS Means. I was the editor-in-chief and president, and then I sold Means to a Canadian newspaper and decided I'd go on my own, and now I'm president of B&I. We're in San Diego. We're West Coast oriented, but national in scope.
I'm Dan Cook. I'm a vice president of the Gordian Group. I guess now just Gordian. I've been doing JOC most of my career for about 22 years. Gordian's been in business 30 years. And I started, myself, I started in Southern California, in Los Angeles and San Diego, spent some time in New York City, about 10 years, and moved to Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago. So.
Hi, my name is Sandra Pace, and I'm CEO and president of Build Method, Inc. We provide software, data, and services for job order contracting nationwide. A little bit about me, I started out in the software industry at Autodesk 25 years ago, and we built worldwide great flagship product that majority of you may be using in some capacity or have heard of them, like AutoCAD and Autodesk Impression. And most recently, they have Revit architecture engineering as well. Apart from that, I have worked for the private sector. A lot of the services that we've been providing since last 10 years through my other consulting firm called iPoint Solutions in the private sector for JOC comparable procurement process models for companies like Visa Inc., Kaiser Permanente, Delta Dental of California. They have millions of dollars invested in this facility infrastructure for data center and so on. There's a lot of comparable expertise we bring on the table to the JOC community. Apart from that, we have also been forging alliances for the public sector JOC domain expertise with people like ex-founder and CEO of Gordian Group. So he would be partnering with us to provide the service side. For that, we are launching our product in Q2 timeframe. And if you want to be the early adopter for the best of the class software, product, data, and services, please come see me.
Hi, I'm Andrew Larson. I work with Facility Optimization Solutions of Canon Design. We are a facility asset management and strategic capital planning consultancy, and we also provide job order contracting software and cost database solutions. Again, we're part of Canon Design, which is a global architecture, engineering, and construction company. We've developed this new solution, which is obviously why we're here today. We've brought it to market, spoken with a lot of you, and are really excited about what we can do, partnered with some of you all.
Hi, I'm Alicia Nowazik, and I am filling in for Mary Wallers. She was unable to attend today, so being that said, Sierra West Group is a professional construction cost estimating firm for which does primarily cost estimating for public works, projects, and negotiating of contractors and peer estimate reviews. Sierra West Group was founded by Mary Wallers and was started back in 1992. Rapid CES, which is what I'm representing today, is a construction cost estimating software developed by Sierra West Group using their data in construction, which she has been maintaining for the past 30 years, and this database goes back 60 years. So there's a lot of history there. This database is the only resource specifically mandated on all work for the Office of Public Schools and Construction in the state of California. And we too look forward to speaking with you further about how we can help you on your future projects.
Okay, thanks everybody. And to keep things moving along, just a couple of ground rules for the panel. Don't feel like you have to answer every question if you're not passionate about a particular subject or it doesn't fit your product. You can just pass the mic on down, and do try to keep your answers to 1 minute or less so we can keep things lively, we can keep them moving. I have a couple of, I'm going to use the word seed project softballs to get things moving before we start taking questions from the audience. But in around 1 minute, can you please give us an overview on what differentiates your product in the industry?
Anybody want to start? Okay.
Thank you. So what differentiates our product from the industry is the world-class private sector expertise that we bring in. If you're aware of, all of the software technologies that you use today have a very comparable and scalable model that opens up the market for JOC community. We haven't seen that type of model in place today. For example, Gordian Group and other choices are there, but they are not as flexible and scalable per the client assessment needs. So this is where we are going to come in, and we are going to be looking to partner with the client in terms of what works for them, what is their need, and our pricing is going to be based on what works for them and how well, based on the volume flat fee. It's going to be a fair pricing for both the contractors as well as for the owners. In terms of the technology, we have a streamlined, awesome product that makes sure that all of the best practices for JOC are automated in a way that are easy to use, not spending too much time doing all the paperwork to make sure that all the data is auditable, is shareable in a secure cloud, is accessible through a mobile app. And we have been putting together a comprehensive database for your usage that is also accessible through that secure cloud through our software since the last 3.5 years. It has taken us that long. So we are very excited, and we look forward to partnering with you on the job order contracting opportunities that you may have coming.
Thank you, Sandra.
So I think what would differentiate Gordian is just the depth of experience. I mean, we're created by the founder of Job Order Contracting. We have about 200 different account managers who have about as experienced as you come throughout the country. There's about $2.5 billion worth of construction every year procured through our platform. On top of that, we have about 50 cost estimators who spend about 22,000 hours a year updating our database, along with a lot of faces in the room who are constantly every day validating the data that we do. And I think bringing that all under one roof, the data, the software, and the expertise is what makes us unique. We also do, we do provide just software if it's needed, or just data if it's needed, or just expertise. So we have all three under the roof, but it is also an a la carte menu. So.
Okay, what makes me different from everybody is I'm just in the data business. I'm a data junkie, and that's all I do. I collect data, I disseminate it. We started out as a newspaper. We went from a newspaper to a magazine, but always within the construction industry. We had manuals, and then we started to do building codes. So we did building codes, zoning codes. We own the Public Works Code in California. We do the National Electrical Code on a statewide basis. We got into the software business, but then decided it wasn't really compatible with the data business, so we went back just to pure data, and that's what we focus on now. And what we can do is give real-time labor rates on a weekly basis in every city in the United States.
I'm going to read all mine to prepare because I tend to be run at the mouth sometimes. I may say something I shouldn't say. We founded 4BT in 2016 upon seeing a clear need to rethink, reshape, and rebuild JOC basically to assure that one, lean planning, procurement, and project delivery processes were deployed in a manner that is mutually beneficial to all participants and stakeholders. Two, full transparency and compliance was provided. Three, that solutions did not burden users with excessive fees and costs. And four, cost data was truly reflective of the local market conditions.
Anybody else?
So our product is called SimpleBid, and it's kind of in the name. The similar to what she just mentioned is that from our software through the structure of our data, it's all developed to be easy for both the owner and the contractor to use and help facilitate collaboration, cooperation to really make sure that these programs are high performing, not facing issues of lag getting projects started or completed, and just making the environment an enjoyable and efficient JOC program for everybody.
Alicia? No?
All right. Rapid CES is also a cloud-based software. So, I mean, for everyone having access, accessibility, ease of accessibility, no matter where you are, obviously that's very important for any of us, regardless of wherever our project may be. Obviously, having the most current and most accurate database is also key, which having a database that's over 60 years old and maintaining it is very important to us and is part of the purpose of going and taking this onto JOC, as well as putting the software out there. It's our software. What I know of it is easy to use. It's easy to use for the user. It's easy to use for the contractor. There's transparency there, which is obviously very important for all of us, especially the owners. When you go in, you want to see where you are. Are you on budget? Are you on point? Is your sub over? Because again, this needs to be a win-win situation for both the client, the owner, the contractor, for all of us, as well as the fee. With our product, we have a flat fee. There's no additional percentages. There's no nothing. It's a flat fee for the user. For 1 year, additional seats can be acquired. And again, those are on a monthly basis. So again, if it's something that, your project's only 3 months long, why pay for 6 months? Why pay for a year? Again, it's based upon the need of the client, the contractor, and the owner. But more importantly, again, this product is something that is needed out there. Gordian has been out there front and center for a long time. And as you can see by looking around in this room, there's a lot of opportunity. And the JOC program is growing excessively. And there's plenty of work out there for all of us, in the sense of contractors, in the sense of software, databases, owners, making sure that everybody at the same time has a project completed on time, on budget, and most importantly, just done right.
Awesome. All right, thank you all. As a professional estimator and as the moderator, I hope your software is faster than your responses. So I had to do it. I had to do it. Just kidding. Just kidding. So, okay. A little bit of levity never hurts, right?
There we go.
All right. You guys teed it up. I had to walk through the door. All right. Next softball is, please tell us where you're located, in what part of the country or what part of the world you're located in, and where you do most of your business, whether that's, in your own region or somewhere else in the company. 1 minute or less.
We can do that.
All right.
Okay, Rapid CES is located in Sacramento, California, but it does project estimates throughout the entire U.S. and including most states.
So I didn't know this was Comedy Central's roast of the software providers, but so I'm located in Buffalo, New York. My group has offices in Denver and Houston, and our company has about 20 offices across the country. Our work is well distributed for our professional services and our other software products. Our current JOC work is mostly in California.
Okay. We're located in Denver, Colorado, and open for business for nationwide, providing software, data, and services.
Gordian's been headquartered in Greenville, South Carolina since its founding. We have 6 different offices throughout the country, and we literally have operations in every zip code in the U.S. with a U.S. Postal Service, and account managers in pretty much all those areas.
We're located in San Diego mostly because I want to live there. That's the reason. So,
Smart man.
let's be honest with each other, okay?
good.
All right. So,
Yeah, not a bad
I'm from Boston originally, and I don't want to live there. So, here I am in San Diego. Because we inherited a company that started in 1946 as a mail order company, we have 500,000 customers throughout the United States. But we used to sell information to them and still do. So on an individual basis, that's how many people we deal with, not in every year, but overall, that's how many people in our database. So we have a national identity, but we are located in California.
So 4BT's location is in Houston, Texas. Our team members are located across the United States, including California, Arizona, Texas, the Midwest, Southeast, and the Northeast. Our innovative and exclusive offered products and services include lean construction collaborative frameworks, locally researched construction cost data, and enterprise-level SaaS technology. Our clients largely include the public sector, including universities, counties, cities, and their awarded JOC construction contractors. We also have certain corporations using our construction cost data for their specialized products and services. Lastly, our products and services are used by the Allied States Cooperative, which is Region 19 out of El Paso in Texas. They're a cooperative that is run by the service center. So, and that's all I have.
All right, very good. I have one more softball for you before I open it up to the floor. So if anybody has questions out there, scribble them down real quick and the panel will be ready to answer. I have plenty more, but I want to get the people involved here. So for each, do you offer training or a free trial of your program to owners or contractors who are interested in your product?
Yes. 4BT offers free trials of our SaaS, if you know that, software as a service. We're also in the cloud technology, inclusive of our locally researched construction cost data to any owner interested in JOC program, as well as discounts to CJE members that decide to employ our solutions. Multi-level and multi-label training is also available, including on-site, virtual, and regional advanced introductory. We do not train JOC as what CJE does. We train our product and how to use our product, just to be clear.
BNI has all of its products available on a 30-day trial. So that's how philosophically we are. We're partnering with ProEst and Procore to deliver this product. So we have to go with their policy too, but I know it's pretty lenient.
Yeah, training is a key part of the services that Gordian provides. And we do offer free trials for anyone who wants, whether it be an estimating solution or JOC programs.
Yes, we do provide training in every area, of, including how to use our data, how to use our software, along with the best practices on JOC as well, as is suitable based on the cultural needs of your organization. So we do provide training. Yes, we do have a limited time only trial, just like everyone else, for 30 days. So we have that as well.
So although this is a new product for us, we've been implementing software platforms for about a decade. And with all those implementations comes included training to get staff up and running, anybody else up and running who might be using it, and then training thereafter. As far as trials or demos or anything like that, I think the most important step before just releasing someone a trial to any software platform is meeting with them, understanding the needs, and figuring out what products, solutions, or programs work best for them. So that's really step number one before we can really start thinking about some kind of trial program.
Yes, Rapid CES offers training and free trials to owners and users.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Anybody from the audience, any questions out there, please?
Oh, hang on. Wait. Let's get it for everybody here. Perfect. It's one of the problems we had earlier, so we don't want to relive that.
I talk pretty loud, but still. Okay, so we just talked about the free trials and trainings. And so I guess my question is in these trials, is the data information available? Are these complete, the trial a complete, are you able to check the software out holistically? Or is a bunch of stuff throttled back where you can't actually see all the different features and data. My second question is, everyone said they offered training, but is that training free or is that an additional service that's sold? So when I need support and I'm using your data or I choose to name it in my next solicitation, am I gonna have your support or am I gonna have to continue to pay for additional support? Does that make sense?
I'm gonna get my steps in today.
Yeah.
Who wants to go? Gordiansville.
Yeah. So our free trial, we set the programs up for free at no cost. I mean, everybody knows our fee, and I think there's a lot of controversy over the service as a percentage, but part of that comes unlimited training. You know, so the reason there's a percentage is because there's no additional cost in licensing. It comes with support, all that's included in the adjustment factor. So there's no additional cost. The percentage of a construction on our JOC main product, it's there so that our interests are aligned with the conversation around partnership. Our interests are 100% aligned in that case. You know, it's to set up a contract that's going to be put in place where you're going to get the services that you need. If you have new staff that comes on board, it's in our interest to train them. Same with the contractors. Any of the contractors in the room, you know, as you hire new staff, it's in our interest to train them. There's no additional fee for any of those. Unlimited number of licenses that go with that. So, yeah.
I'll go next. So in terms of the training and support, we have different packages that we offer based on the owner's need and contractor's need. Sometimes there are champions within the organizations that they are trained the trainer and they don't need to pay for unlimited training, enormous amount of dollars for just training. So we do provide you option with unlimited training option package versus limited training based on whatever you need. Our goal is to make sure that our customers are empowered with what they need at the time they need to be successful in implementing a successful JOC program by using the software, data, and any other kind of advisory support they may need also from the JOC manual standpoint and procedural policies and so on.
And then the second part of the question was the trial. Is it, do you really get a feel for the program? Or is
You would get a really great feel for the program. It's going to be, we are going to be tailoring some portion of the data for you. Because it's a free trial, it takes a lot of resources to set it up. In terms of getting the depth and breadth of the features, we are going to give you access to some of the features that are they don't need to be tailored for your organization. And we are going to be providing you with unlimited number of unlimited demonstration, live demo, for you to be able to even drive through with us to get a real feel for the product. It's a blend of the two.
And we have a different approach. We don't charge a fee because you're paying for something you may not use, or you're paying for something you use a lot and only use a little. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like JOC, you know, it's like, what's a contingency, right? I'm doing an estimating, but I'm gonna pay for something I'm not using. You know, we charge we have a group fee for a client, and you know what you're getting charged. There's no whatever. Yeah, getting late.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. So you know what you're paying for. And yes, the training that you do pay for is continued for the year of that contract. So in other words, it's not unlimited, but you get the support for people who are like, oh, I forgot how to do this, or how do I do this? We're available 24 hours a day for support on what we need to do for the training. So yes, you pay for what you get. So none of this overpaying or you didn't use it and whatever. That's our model.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so like some of these folks have said, the training is really going to be dependent on what type of service level you might be purchasing. So if you just had a software-only license, you might see a different setup for training than a more managed solution where you've got some really heavy involvement from some sort of account manager. So in terms of solicitation you might be writing, I think the most important part of trying to determine what those costs might be is to be really clearly defined in what type of program or solution you're after. And then as far as limited functionality inside of a trial, again, that trial for us would be set up working with you based on what the needs are, but we would not just set you loose on something that you begin working in it and you hit a paywall when you're trying to reach some kind of functionality. We're not necessarily set up that way. So again, it's not so much of a cookie cutter trial solution.
It's okay. The training and the free trial. The free trial is free, full access to the entire software database for 30 days. And so, yes, there's no holdbacks, not like a little tease to say, hey, come check me out, and then come back later and, or you're missing something because it might be a turnoff. You want to see it, you want to breathe it, you want to, play with it and see if it's what you want. Come check us out. In regards to the training is provided. Again, it's based upon the service that you need, like them as well. If you are just paying for the software and you have in-house staff that's familiar with JOC and so forth and using estimating databases, because I'm sure they're all fairly similar in format in the sense of unit quantities, line items, and just putting in what they are. So we're all similar in that sense. But again, in regards to the training, yes, training is available. Again, it's based upon your needs, and it will be priced at that. But for the most part, training is definitely included.
Okay, very good. And I'll just throw in, we'll get, you'll be up next, thank you. I'll throw in and let you know, I have personally used half of the software that's up here. I'm not gonna tell you which 3 I have and have not. But I've been able to turn it on, use it, chunk out an estimate in an hour, and give the estimate to my client. So none of them are difficult to use. They're all very user-friendly, and it's start and go, so they work well. One more from my list here. Is there a specific, so I'm talking now about data and software with 2 different things. So is there a specific software, a PM software or an estimating software that works best with your data, or are there multiple softwares that work best with your data?
I think for this application, the ProCore application is the best with our data. We have other partners that we deal with, but they're primarily for the contractor. And I think that in this audience, that's the world I come from, but I know Robert Coffey and Harry Mellon pretty well, and the contractor approach really wouldn't quite work here. But ProCore, I'd say they're the best ones.
In response, I think I didn't answer everything. Our system is also full-blown. You go in, 30 days, play with it, check it out, do what you need to do. The answer for number 4, our 4BT Building and Cloud SaaS technology stands alone in providing project management, contract management, proposal bid management, estimate management, document management, location management, building management, asset and component management, and contractor-subcontractor management, as well as the ability to integrate BIM information and view BIM models. That said, our construction cost data is organized by using CSI master format, and therefore could be easily integrated in appropriate technology and solutions. And we only use our database with our software, so to clear that up.
I would answer the same way. We use our software for our data, but we do have APIs that integrate with other systems. So that could be, whether the client might have some sort of accounting system or other project management systems. We've done that too. So.
Ours is an all-inclusive product. It's you could say enterprise ERP class, and our data works with our software only at this time.
What they said. No, but really it's our software data, the platform was designed to work with our data, although our data is on an industry standard, it's defined by industry standards, and it realistically is software agnostic if you were to only have the data.
Ditto. Rapid CES was designed specifically to work with our data for JOC.
Okay, thanks. And question from the back? Rick, thank you.
Coming around.
So I was wondering which of your solutions or your data have localized or regional market cost data, and which of those are standard versus custom build solutions?
Sorry, we've only got one mic. So anybody need to get their steps in, moderate one of these.
I can do the data side of it for you. The way we approach data is there's 2 components to construction costs. One is material and one is labor. The material, even though you can, like the Upper Peninsula of San Francisco, ready-mix concrete's very expensive. In Pittsburgh, you can't get crushed stone. Other than that, material really doesn't fluctuate much around the country. About 2% either side of the norm. Remember, I'm a data junkie. This is what I've been looking at for the last 40 years. But the labor rates are 30% of the norm. Now, labor is about 50% of construction. Material is about 50% of construction, statistically speaking, all right? We focus almost all of our efforts on the labor rates. We have a newsletter that we've been publishing for years where we do 30 commodities 6 times a year. So we do watch the commodities, and if things take off, we can address it. But the labor rates we do every Friday. Davis-Bacon wages are available Friday morning. By Friday at noontime, our database is completely updated with brand new averages in every city in the United States.
So we do localized data for labor rates, just like Bill mentioned earlier here. Also for material, because it could vary depending upon the local market, because you don't want to be shipping gravel from somewhere else. This is because it happens to be cheaper. You have to honor what the local market is for those prices. And we localize that for a specific JOC owner by sampling data with the local contractor. We'll work with them, sit down with them, we'll survey and research the the local market to understand what they are paying to their employees, to understand what they are paying to their subs, what makes sense, and how everything is lining up. Also for equipment rentals, right? So for equipment, there's a lot of cost involved, and locally they vary. Their dump fees are going to vary. So we do all localized data to ensure a win-win proposition for both, for contractor as well as for the owner, to ensure accuracy of estimates. They can hold water in different situations.
So I'd say for our products, our estimating guides use CCI's Construction Cost Index. That's usually fine for an estimate, which is why we don't recommend our estimating guides for job order contracting, because those are customized for each one of the local agencies. And to Bill's point, labor being the key driver of that, there are some materials that are very important to take local prices. A lot of them are the same. Equipment prices tend to be standard, but you have to factor freight. So we will customize for each one of our contracts for job order contracting the prices so that they're local.
Actually, that question is the second to the last question, I think the last question in all of these things, so I'm just going to read my answer. Let's see, where does it start? It says, so 4BT's our unit price books and cost data are always locally researched. We do not use national averages or cost factors. The use of national averages and cost factors can introduce significant error in cost data.
I'm going to add a little bit to the cost factors. We publish cost factors. I'm going to tell you right now, be careful. Don't use them as a Bible, because they're not. They're a guide. And that's all they're going to do is give you a guide. So these indexes that people like myself publish, and we do it with ENR, we do it with everybody, they're really dangerous if you don't use them judiciously.
Anybody?
So our cost data is developed from Canon Design's in-house cost estimating group. And again, Canon Design's a multidisciplinary architecture, engineering, construction firm. They've been doing estimating work for about 100 years all over the country in all markets. So for each owner, we would be customizing that database based on actual contractor bids and actual projects that we've put in the ground. So we'll use regional economic factors and actual data from contractors who we've had partnerships with for many years to help keep that data updated and regionalized.
Rapid CES's price book can be localized. We already have over 300 location factors already figured into our software and so forth, so it should pretty much give you right where you want to go. However, we can definitely customize it towards each client's needs based upon their location and, again, what's going on in the industry and the market at that point in time. The database is updated quarterly on a quarterly basis with labor and the inflection index. Sierra West Group also publishes in the ENR quarterly and has been since 1992 their cost index. So again, like Bill said, don't take it out of context, but the cost estimating books and the resources that we're talking about today, they are current, they are accurate, and we, again, Rapid CES, we can definitely update it quarterly. We already do update it quarterly, but we can obviously customize it for your needs.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody. That concludes the softball portion of our program. So now we're getting into some more difficult questions that start picking at some other data points and some other queries that we had from people. So as a provider of software and pricing guides and price books and other things like that, do you sample contractors' pricing in every given area to confirm accuracy of your pricing data in the market?
Yes. This is actually a continuation of the last subject, I think, too. We sample local contractor pricing. However, more importantly, we research all aspects of local market conditions using our robust 4BT cost research methodology, which we use the 4BT 5% rule. What does that mean? Anytime we develop a unit price book, if the price varies within over 5%, we create a new unit price book. We started that a long time ago when we started this. So also, for example, we also research local labor trades, inclusive of fringes, material costs, and equipment costs within targeted areas. If we find a variance, which I just talked about, the 5%.
In addition to individual prices within cities, we also collect total building prices. So we have another database where we collect square foot prices of buildings actually built. We have over 2,000 in a database. And from that, we get to talk to the client and find out about their needs. In addition to all that, in our customer service line, when we have individual people that use our cost books and they have questions, we always ask them, where are they from? And that's it. It just opens up everything when you ask that question. And then we can always get it, every single time we get prices on things like ready mix, crushed stone, lumber, things like that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this is a trick question because we don't usually solicit prices directly from contractors. It's usually the suppliers, the wage rates, and the local equipment manufacturers who we will solicit a price from. We're constantly getting validation and questions, and lots of, the errors that are in our book are usually found by contractors. So it's validated, and we get a lot of feedback from the contractors. We don't actually solicit prices. I don't think you guys would like it if we were constantly asking you to price jobs that were not real jobs.
So we have a combination of approach, right? So we are going to be following two-prong approach to ensure fairness and accuracy and reliability of the data. We do survey local suppliers to ensure that we have one data point. Another data point that we use to ensure that model is intact is to survey the non-JOC contractors also in the area, plus the JOC contractors, so that we have various different data points to ensure that we are really considering all of the variables in generating the confidence in our data. Then we run that through various models that would mimic the project sampling of your institution. And we would make sure that the data that has been generated, it iterates through those statistical analysis we do and models, that it is in the realm. We'll have those benchmarks. Let's say if one of the renovation project costed $140,000 in the other non-JOC market, and then our data comes down to 120 or so, that's okay because we have bare costs. So everything is related to bare cost, and then you have to add on the coefficient based on that. So we fine tune our data until we feel that it's comparable and it's reflective of the local market condition. It's a pretty thorough model that we run through our data engine.
So yes, we do validate our cost data with contractors across the country whom we are working with in all markets, constructing the buildings that we're helping design and engineer.
And we too. Hello, sorry, lost my my note, my comment. Yes, we do estimate in various parts of the country. Prices are varied through the estimating of contractors. With that said, Sierra West Group, which is our main company, that's what started our Rapid CES software and so forth, is an estimating and cost firm. And we do estimates and provide cost estimating services all over the state of California, as well as in other states. And with that said, our estimators are very diligent in obviously soliciting proposals and validating unit prices and costs, which is all reflective in our database. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you all. And just to clarify, and some people were in the class yesterday and heard some of this, but as a JOC contractor, I do the same thing. I have real jobs that I have completed in our company. I know exactly what the job costs, and I know exactly what our fee and our margins were on the job. And I take that price book data and roll it back into those real jobs and evaluate the book. So I too will know what's in the book. I will know if it's high or low or whatever it happens to be. And that's how that coefficient gets developed. So for those of you who are thinking about data and software, there's a lot of people with a lot of eyes on that. And the products that are going to come to you in the end will all function very, very well, because that's what the contractors and the providers do together. So one more question from me, and then I'm going to open it up to the audience for a few more. And this one comes from my heart. So, does your software take into consideration how efficiently contractors can prepare an estimate?
So yes, our software and cost data was developed in a way to make it, I guess, easy, streamlined, and efficient for contractors to develop the bids, proposals, projects. It's kind of a lot of our mission through development and our idea for creating a solution. So yeah, it's a simple answer to that, yes.
Rapid CES, the answer is yes. A specific coefficient can be assigned to each project. Our software as well is very user-friendly. It gives you a sample of items that you would want to put in a coefficient. And that may be applicable, but it may not be, depending again upon the project that you're actually working on specifically. But it's user-friendly in the sense that you get to determine what goes into that. For the contractor, as the owner, just in the sense of remaining in budget, and again, trying to just stay on point with your project.
The answer is yes also. In addition to making sure that the estimates are generated very quickly from the system, we also have multi-user support. So you could have multiple users working on the same file, and it will make sure that auditability of what user changed at what point is there. And then version comparison from one version to another version between the owner and the contractor or internally. That is also tracked, so you don't have to print it out and compare it manually. Software will automatically flag the changes from previous version. And it streamlines the process, and it saves a lot of time ensuring that you're submitting the correct version for that estimate. And in addition to that, we have out-of-the-box reports. They will generate material list for you, equipment view, the labor cost, the crew code view, also the job authorization proposal right at the click of the button in a PDF format, Excel, Word, and so on. So we make it very easy. We also have ability for you to add all of your items in favorites so that if they are reusable, you don't have to look for them in the database. They are right there at your fingertips in the favorite, and you just click them and add them to your estimate. It saves additional time. Plus, you can also create templates, reusable templates for similar type of job orders where you can even speed up your process for creating estimates for the similar job from job to job.
So yes, this is for us and for all of our competitors up here too. It's the importance of using a software that's designed for job order contractors to make sure it does have a coefficient, and that the right coefficient is chosen, and contractors can't choose their own coefficient, or accidents can't happen. So it's one of the plugs for using any version of software that's customized for job order contract. I'm sure all of our competitors will, will have that functionality. As far as for like, we have all the other functions, like you copy proposals from one to another, and I'll leave a little teaser for hopefully next year we come back. We're working on some really, really cool things and have a major focus around making contractors more efficient in how they build proposals. So we have some cool stuff coming on our platform that's gonna really make contractors' proposals much faster and quicker to build.
We also have yes on that one too. We believe we believe a properly researched UPB should enable a contractor to submit a coefficient of greater than 1. For example, if a UPB reflects the local cost of a construction minus the contractor's profit and overhead, thus a contractor's bid coefficient for standard hours construction is generally in the 1.1 to 1.3 area. Our system in our program allows for multiple coefficients depending on the solicitation from the owner. It also locks in the coefficient so the contract cannot change unless it's done by the owner and it's a new contract. So they cannot just arbitrarily throw in a new contract coefficient. It's locked in. And so that's how our system works.
Okay, thank you all. Anything from the audience? Anyone questions? Yes?
So I have a two-part question. The first part is when you're putting together your cost data, do you ever take in owners' requirements into account? So for example, specific owners have different requirements that may up the cost, added personnel or community hiring or something like that that may increase costs. The second part of the question is how do you update when you have a 4-year contract? How are each of the datas or each of the cost books being updated throughout that contract?
Would you like to go first?
Rapid CES updates their software quite regularly, and obviously with the help and support of their client. I can't even see. Who asked that question? Is it you? Okay, good. I couldn't see you behind this thing. Okay, so I know who I'm speaking to. For the owner, obviously every owner has specialty items or staff, depending upon what type of work they're doing and so forth. And we are in the position of updating it, with your specialties. Like if you have a specific, if you're doing railroads or if you're doing bridges or if you're doing parks or TIs, and there's certain specialty items that you're doing, whether or not, it's a historical building or a historical bench and you need to replicate, we can definitely add those specialty items to our database for you, for the client. So in regards to updating that and making sure that it's tailored for you, we are in a position to do so, as well as like the labor rates. I mean, obviously the labor rates are what they are for where you are, and you just choose, is it during normal working hours? Is it during after working hours? Is it union? Is it non-union? So in regards to your estimates, I mean, they are that you will have the resources that you need to be able to comprise an estimate and have it be accurate and a true reflection of what it would take to do that, to complete that project. And also to our software, chiming in to what she had mentioned earlier, the great thing about our software also is that we believe in transparency as well for the owner, for the contractor, as well as for the project manager, whomever's overseeing the project. In regards to the user level, we have multiple levels that allow you to have a view of the project from either an owner standpoint, like the 1,000-point view. You want to see what's going on. Has it been bid? Is it on budget? Where we at from the project manager to where you have the contractor underneath you and the subcontractor to where you can also see what those prices are. The great thing is that the subcontractors do not have access to seeing the other subcontractors' proposals because obviously you don't want to share all of that, but it does allow you to see where you're at with your numbers, if you are bidding it out or if you have certain specific contractors bidding your projects as a GC and you want to have them bid it and use the line book, but you don't want them to see what the other guys are bidding. You need to manage that, manage those expectations. It allows you to do that. Anyways, that's enough.
So to answer your part one about different requirements at the client level, I guess that the easiest way to answer this is with the ability to have different adjustment factors for various types of work, whether it be, like you said, after hours or some kind of just any special situation or requirements. Maybe it is related to historic or some kind of work program. So that's built-in functionality. And then as far as how often or when the data is defined to be updated, it's usually a contractual thing where sometimes the cost data might be approved by the administration for a certain period, and during that period it would not want to be updated for any certain reason, or maybe there's a reason that it would want to be updated on some kind of scheduled basis. So that's really driven by the contract with the owner.
So part one question is, how do we factor in the owner's specific requirement when it comes to a data set? The answer is there are multiple approaches we can take based on the situation. So for example, majority of the criteria based on what your requirements you have can be handled via coefficient definition, like everyone else mentioned. But there could be certain use cases where you can't handle it through coefficient. Then you may have to create specialty items in the database, right? So we go through the requirements and assess the right approach for tailoring the database for you. And when it comes to how often the data is updated, it would be annually. So right now, its frequency is going to be annually because the prices do change, especially in the labor market. It's going to be very important for us to continue to create the accurate data set so that everyone continues to have the win-win proposition, owner and the contractor and the subcontractor. Yeah.
So I'll do the second part first. So our updates, we either update the adjustment factor or we'll update the catalog. We can do them as frequently as quarterly, depending on how the owner wants. A lot of that we'll have to also do with the attorneys. Some attorneys will say you can never actually change the prices in the contract, so we'll end up with a book that stays 4 years and just update the adjustment factor. So a lot of it will have to do with the attorneys. So the first part, I would argue the argument requirements. This is one that's not really a data or a software question. This really comes to an expertise question. So what are those requirements? Does it make sense to build them as items? Does it make sense to have a different set of adjustment factors? And clearly they need to be spelled out in the contract and explained to the contractors. A huge problem that'll happen in JOC is if there's communication breakdown between what the owner thinks the requirements are and what the contractor does. So that's one where I would say it's really a case by case, and it's going to take some expertise on when you're setting up the contracts.
Well, I can answer your question from a data point of view. It's really, I'm not telling you how to run your business, but it's sort of a mistake to create what we call an oddball thing and put it in a database, because you'll never use it again. And what that does, it really junks up your database. And because I just feel so strongly about data, you try to keep it as pure as possible. So you can do it through an assembly. Create an assembly, give it some Mickey Mouse factors, something that makes it work for you, get it to work, and be done with it. If you want to go back to it and you keep on using it over and over and over again, well, then it does belong in your database. But if you never use it again, you haven't messed up your database, because your database has to be updated every year, at least in order to be good. So that's just a suggestion, that's all.
For us, we update our unit price book labor quarterly. Every quarter we update our labor. We also update our material if there's been a major price increase in material that we have, especially in commodities. If we got a big hit in commodities like steel, we will go down and make those material changes based upon commodities that are done. We update the book annually, but our labor is every quarter, period. And then we, of course, when the commodities are up, we take care of that also. And the other part of the question was using, when it comes to a client wanting to put in, wanting specialized or wanting a different line item included, I'm in agreement with everybody here, but it depends on what they're actually wanting, and if it will mess up the database if it's something not used all the time. However, in my experience with an agency, a government agency that wants to put in their own stuff, then we go in, we look what they've got. You go in to find out what they're going to use all the time, what they're not, what are their historicals on that. There's a lot of work that goes into making that happen. And so it's just not an easy thing. Oh, we'll just throw it in there, because you may have your price, but we have to do our due diligence. We have to say, okay, fine, that's your price, but now we've still got to go research it. I mean, that's doing our due diligence. Otherwise, you're buying something based upon what you want. Why wouldn't you just go do your own? So that's our view.
All right, thank you. Hanif, did you have a question? Okay, so we're down to the final 10 minutes. If anybody has burning questions, I think I'll throw one more from the list and we'll try to catch one more from the audience. So if you're ready, please let us know. And from the list here, let's see. So there's a question came in about I'm going to call it multipliers or modifiers that go into the software. And the question is, does your software have the ability to handle multiple coefficient factors or usage? In other words, standard hours, non-standard hours, non-pre-priced, highly secure areas, hospital clean work, those sorts of things. Can the software have multiple adjustments for it in it to work in different locations? And we're on short time, so
Yes.
perfect.
It is standard functionality.
Agreed, comes out of the box. And additionally, you would have ability to,
Next.
once you have those set in, it will automatically check contractual control for you for the proposal so that nobody's gaming the system.
See.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Anything from the audience? We're probably down to 6 or 7 minutes.
Mr. McGee.
I was just kind of wondering what kind of integration you guys have with like on-screen takeoff and things like that for doing quantities.
Any takers?
As I mentioned earlier, we do not have on-screen takeoff or any for takeoffs, although we do have a BIM modeling system in our system that will allow you to do takeoffs if it's sent over to you properly from the architect or engineer. Yes.
We partner with a company that has a BIM application that uses our data. So when the drawing's done, the pricing's done.
Yeah, we partner with third parties that do automatic takeoffs.
We are in process of partnering and researching on which will be the best fit from integration standpoint. It's on our roadmap right now. Based on our current research, we have learned that for the JOC-specific program and projects, the takeoff functionality, if you rank it, is of lower priority than everything else.
The foundation of our software was developed to integrate with all of the platforms our clients might be currently using inside of their various departments.
We are currently researching.
Okay, very good. We have time for one more question. Anybody have anything burning from the audience to ask? All right, I have one that was brought in from the audience a little bit, actually two, but one I'm not going to ask because I'm not. So the first one is iOS and Android are two platforms and both run thousands of programs. Is there a universal software or a desire to create a universal standard that will allow the use of server data sets? And can CJE or the JOC industry help with that? So that came from an IT person, I'm sure. And what I think what it means is, can there be one software? Can there be one operating system that the software runs off of? Any IT people in the room?
Yeah, I would tell you that question
Parrish.
is probably for a lot of people that like a lot of the architectural firms probably work out of Apple, iOS, and a lot of contractors work out of IBM. And if you're used to using Apple and you know the programs or the software that we're using is all on IBM, those people probably struggle much like I do trying to use an Apple other than an iPhone. So that's probably the question.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to I'm trying to answer that question in my own head, and the only thing I can say is, since our software is building in cloud, and so for us, it doesn't matter what platform. You can use iPad, iPhone, your Android, whatever you want. You can be out on the site and you can put an estimate together. You can get your documents included. You do your pictures. It goes into a file into our folder because we're a full-blown JOC management program. We actually start a flow. We have a workflow, and you go through that workflow. That's how our system works. So yes, you can use our system on any thing you need to do. They're really good for disaster because when the hurricanes hit down Texas, we had our contractors were actually sitting right there ready to go into the southern part of Texas when the hurricane was hitting, and they were ready to go with their iPads and go in and start doing what they had to do. So it was really, really kind of cool.
So, but I like the question. Take it philosophically. So I would say competition is good. iOS is better because Android exists. Android's better because iOS exists. So competition is good. I would say if you're an owner, you probably want to pick one platform. You probably want to pick the best in class and go with that platform. That's probably going to maximize efficiency. If you're a contractor, you probably want to work both platforms because that's going to give you the most amount of options. So that's where I would go with it.
Agreed with what you just said. Software as a service, right? It is accessible from majority of the browsers, and browser is already a standard. So from that perspective, the system and solution is really compatible with whether you use Linux platform or any other platform. From mobile capability perspective for iOS and also for Android, we do offer mobile app. In terms of estimating, though, estimating use cases do not lend well for the mobile app based on the usability research we have done. They bode well for the field-friendly operations. For example, RFIs, photos, daily log, and other checklist items. You can view an existing estimate, but building an estimate on a little mobile phone may not be the most suitable scenario for using the mobile capabilities.
So similar to Mark, I tried to digest that question, but the easiest answer I can provide is that our system is web-based. It's available on any device, just has to be connected to the internet. Doesn't matter what operating system. You can make your own operating system. If you connect it to the internet, you could use our product.
I think the first part of the question was, is there a standardized product, or would there be a standardized product? And I think that obviously with the different platforms, I don't find that likely at this time. I find that highly unlikely that there's going to be one standard format. However, obviously we're all using different platforms, different products, but we do all follow the same format in the sense of the CSI format, the divisions, and we are all web-based or cloud-based. So again, the accessibility to our programs is at your fingertips. It's available and accessible to all of you.
All right, thank you all.
I have
Parrish, go.
I have one question. Having worked with the one that is probably most prominent that you see in the industry now that's not represented here, do any of you offer your package? I know everybody says they're working on the cloud, and that's great. Except when you're stuck out in the middle of somewhere and there's no internet connection and there's no way to get it, and I need to put the number together to get something done. Do any of you offer a product that I can get where it's loaded on my computer somehow, some way, via disk or hard drive, where I can get that information when I need it and do my job when I don't have access to the web?
No.
I'm gonna let you guys just handle it.
No, we are not we are strictly cloud-based for our systems. Well, I imagine we'll get there someday when we start moving for our company, because we're a young company, 3.5 years now. But when we go into federal sector, there's certain federal sectors that will not allow cloud-based for security reasons. We're just not there yet. I know there's our competition, some of them are already there. We're not.
Some of our vendors do have machine-oriented software, not cloud-based. We're cloud-based, but our data is available on desktops or laptops. Yep.
We'd still have legacy products that can do that. We'd like to get rid of them, but we know that there's still a use for them in places like that, so it's tough.
This is on our roadmap to have offline capability. So what it is you're going to have a combination of the SaaS cloud-based platform that also enables the same capabilities in unusual circumstances that you mentioned, especially construction and special circumstances. So we are in process of, it's on our roadmap to build offline ability for you to access the same functionality. Once you're online, it will sync up directly to the cloud.
At this time, we're only web-based, and I take a different take. I would hope that technology outpaces our ability to develop something that needs to be hard installed onto the machine. That would be great.
having the publication, obviously you have something that you could take on the road with you out there in the sense of if you need to look up line items. Unfortunately, I hate the idea of going back to, writing an estimate by hand, But we too have a legacy of an old software that unfortunately, we could always pull back and provide to you should you need it. Again, we are still reviewing that in regards to having a software readily available just for you to upload on your individual PC. But again, I'm with y'all. I think I would hope that technology would prevent us from going backwards and take us to the next.
All right, thank you all. And before we wrap up here and before I get a picture with all of the panel members and their certificates, I'm going to take you back to Dr. Badger for a minute and remember what he said about humor. So I'm going to apologize to you all for my smart aleck remarks, but I simply could not help myself, and it was fun. So thank you all for everything that you've done. Thank you for spending time with us today. We're going to get some photos. Reception and networking is next, and a very special thanks to SDB Contracting for sponsoring the reception. Yes.